Good morning once again, and I'm coming to you from the Crystal Gate Marriott in Arlington, Virginia, on the 14th floor. And I briefly want to talk to ministers and pastors and religious scientists at this time. A brief message. For we're celebrating, we're moving on into the season and the time when the Son of God was born. As it was written, for unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. Now it was this same son that was approximately 33 years day after his birth, that was crucified, and he died a horrible death, as it was predicted that he should, upon a cross. But before he died, he suffered a torturous sort of experience. He was whipped, and you could, those of you who do your history, look at the type of whips that they used in those days to beat, because he was treated as a criminal. He was whipped with such a whip, and his tissue was expunged from his body. Massive tissue cells, billions of tissue cells, and millions and billions of blood cells was also excreted from his body during this process. Now it is this blood that I'm putting under the microscope. I'm talking to pastors, ministers, religious scientists. It is this blood I'm putting under the microscope at this coming onto the season of his birth, or we're in the season of his birth. And take for example now that this was blood vessel, artery, or vein, and basically we know we have red blood cells. Suppose if that was represented with red blood cells, let me use another thing here. We'll find another marker, a different marker. All right, this is a different marker. And suppose we use this to represent, say, white blood cells, just a different marker. And from experience, the white blood cells are bigger. So I draw them a little bit bigger. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and we have some platelets as well. Well, I'm running out of marker here. This one doesn't have enough platelets, or thrombocytes, they call them. Red blood cells are leukocytes. White blood cells, red blood cells are erythrocytes. White blood cells are leukocytes. So this would be now the leukocytes. Remember now, this is the blood that was excreted after he was whipped, or during the process of his whipping. And white blood cells, still called WBC. Red blood cells are used as RBC. They're called erythrocytes. And these are called platelets, or thrombocytes. That is the platelets. Thrombocytes. Platelets. And usually the red blood cells are smaller than the white blood cells. And there are many other smaller and equally important intrinsic blood cells. But as we use a more powerful microscope, we see smaller blasts or stem cells. Remember now, this was representing now an arterial vein, and this was the what they couldn't see during that time. 2,000 years ago, there was no microscope, so all they were seeing was a red fluid blood being issued from his body. It is that same blood that is used by religion, Christian religion, in faith, for healing power. There's power in the blood of the Lamb. It's that same blood that is written in the scripture that the life of the flesh is in the blood, and God has given this blood, that is the Father, upon the altar. It was a pure blood, a sinless blood, for the sacrifice, because no longer would have used lambs and turtle doves, but it was this blood that was being used now for the remission of sins and for the healing of the nation. Now I'm making a comparison here that during those times there was no microscope, and all they were seeing was red blood. There are probably some of those who was beyond the time probably could have perceived that there were smaller blood components, but basically the unlearned would have said, okay, that's just red blood. But we know using instrumentation that there is red blood cells, RBC, white blood cells, platelets, thrombocytes, and other blood components. And so if we imagine, use our imagination by faith now, and use this microscopic blood, something that was not tangible to the minds of most people 2,000 years ago, yet they were doing powerful faith healing. And here we have it, and we can see it, and if you look back 24 years and we imagine this blood having these components, how much more power we should have to our generation to know that this blood is used for the remission of sins and for the healing of the nation. Now, likewise, in the laboratory, scientists use rats, the tissues of rats, and the tissues of birds and other animals, mostly rats, when they're doing laboratory tests, and this enhances their studies of cancer. When the cancer, sometimes they practice on the rats before they practice on the human being. And we find out cures, chemical, pharmacological cures, chemical cures, and other cures for some diseases before we practice it on a human. But if we use now the power that is in the pure tissue and blood of the Son of God, I'm talking to the religious scientists, preachers, faith healers at this moment. If we use this, imagine it, and even the smallest stem cells that is in this cross-sectional arterial vein could go on to blast cells, the osteoclast in the bone marrow, go on to the hemocytoblast, that is in, if you do a histological study of the blood vessel, hemocytoblast, the proerectoblast, the basophil erectoblast, the polychromatophilic erectoblast, the smaller stem cells. And we apply this power because his blood has all these components. He was a human being. He came as man, and yet he was God, the Son of God. And his blood has power to heal. And I'm saying if we really apply our imaginative brain power to this concept, that we should be eliminating a lot of diseases, cancers and leukemias and all various forms of blood diseases via faith healing. Now it is written that what is seen is no longer faith. So now that today we are seeing these things and it's physically seen, then we could say that it's no longer faith because it is now seen. And faith is the substance of a thing not seen. It's the substance of a thing hoped for, evidence of the thing not seen. But these things are being seen today. So it makes us even more, we have to give account. As it is written, to whom much is given, much is required. So these millions, billions, and trillions of blood cells, if we apply it by faith or apply it in physical application, we are supposed to come up with solutions to many blood abnormalities, many cancers, many leukemias, many abnormalities in the tissues, in the skin. But I guess today faith is lacking, and we have not really applied or looked back and applied the power that is in this concept of the pure blood of the Son of God that was given. So this message to you this morning is, as it is written, take my yoke upon you, learn of me, not me, but learn of the Son of God. What is it by to learn of him is to learn of him as we have studied ourselves and rats. If we study ourselves and rats, we can also study him. Learn of him because his blood was issued for the healing of the nation. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So this is the brief message I have for you at Christmas, coming to you from Arlington, Virginia, Crystal Gate Marriott. And I wish you peace, power, prosperity, plenty, and excellent health for this season and for the new years to come. So I thank you for this brief message, and I hope you will apply the concept thereof, and we could go ahead and solve many abnormalities, medical abnormalities that is affecting our world today. Thank you so much. I'm Dolphy Gilpin, signing off from the Crystal Gate Marriott in Arlington, Virginia.